Along the ridge where the pale winds rise, morning slips through the cedar seams. Thin frost melts under quiet skies, silver light on the shallow streams. Old dirt road bends through rusted gates, grass grows tall where the wheels once turned. Day unfolds in unhurried states, like a lesson the land has learned. Tin cup warms by a patient flame, coffee breath in the cooling air. Smoke drifts up without shape or name, through the limbs of the trees out there. Footsteps pause where the trail runs wide, pebbles shift with the hollow sound. Hills roll soft on the farther side, holding miles of open ground. Past the bend where the markers fall, there's no need for them at all. In the distance that stays behind, where the quiet and daylight meet, every mile clears the wandering mind, like dust from a traveler's feet. Let the wind take the weight away, let the road grow thin and kind. Out where the long horizons sway, there's a peace you rarely find. Fire settles to glowing red, ash drifts slow and light. Stars hang clear overhead in the widening night. In the distance that stays behind, where the quiet and daylight meet, every mile clears the wandering mind, like dust from a traveler's feet. Out where the long horizons sway, there's a peace you rarely find.
Along the ridge where the white oaks thin, the trail goes quiet and the dusk walks in. A hawk turns once, then folds from sight, and the field holds on to the last warm light. Years ago with a jar in hand, there were frogs in the ditch and dust on the fence. Thought the world was a thing you'd learn, like the names of trees and the way roads turn. Now there's a fire by a scatter of stones, sap in the wood and a low wind hum. Smoke moves off smell of rain, not as a place with a porch and gate, more like a weight that the ground still takes. And the night grows wide behind the hill, big enough for the heart to still. No need answer, no sudden sign, just the dark and the breath in time. So I let the silence find my name, let it rest where the firelight sways. All my old doubts, all my days gone wrong, settle down in the cricket's song. Small as a spark in the open land, still somehow kept by an unseen hand. Maybe faith is the trail-worn plain, going on though it doesn't explain. Maybe meaning is losing slow, like smoke through the branches, letting go. So I let the silence find my name, let it rest where the firelight sways. Small as a spark in the open land, still somehow kept by an unseen hand.
Out past the yard where the blackberries climb, a path ran thin through the weeds and thyme. Used to go there when the house got loud, just to hear the trees talk back somehow. The sun leaned on the edge of the hill, just in the grass, everything held still. Even then there was a weight in the air, like the world was white and I was barely there. Now there's a mile sign, borrowed flame, a kettle singing in the dark the same. Pines stand off where the ridge line bends, keeping their watch like patient friends. Home comes back in a crooked way, in the smell of smoke at the end of day. Not as a place you can step inside, more like a road that runs beside. And the night don't rush to make things clear, it just lays its quiet around what's here. Every question settles slow, like ash in the places the wind won't go. So let the fire read my hands, let it light what I don't understand. All my old names, all my doubt, rise with the smoke and wander out. Small as a spark in the breathing dark, still somehow held by the beating heart. is a little sound. Boots in the dirt, not turning around. Maybe faith is the hillside plain, taking the echo and giving it back again. So let the fire read my hands, let it light what I don't understand. All my old names, all my doubt, rise with the smoke and wander out, small as a spark in the breathing dark, somehow held by the beating heart.
South of the county gravel bend, the tall pines open and close again. A ditch runs deep by the mustard grass, catching the light as the trucks roll past. Used to walk there when the day went dim, with a stick on the weeds and a song half hummed. The world felt wide but it leaned in close, like it had room for the ones who don't know. Oh. Now there's a camp seat off the ridge, boot prints fading by a splintered bench, coffee gone dark in a dented cup, ash in the seam where the fire gave up. Home comes back by its smallest sign, by cedar bark in a clothesline sky. Not as a place you could drive right to, more like a sound that keeps finding you. And the evening takes its time out here, lays a hush on the sumac and the deer. Every question I carried in loses some weight in the breathing wind. So I follow the road till the road goes thin, till the fields turn gold and the crickets begin. All my old doubt, all my borrowed names settle like dust when the light has changed. Small as a stone in a wide, wide land, still I can feel something steady at hand. Maybe faith is a mile unmarked, a little flame after full dark. Maybe meaning is nothing grand, just learning to stand where you stand. So I follow the road till the road goes thin, till the fields turn gold and the crickets begin. Small as a stone in a wide, wide land, still I can feel something steady at hand.
Tall grass leaned like it knew what I meant. Evening gathered in the rows of pine, slow as a hand moving over time. Dust on my boots and a matchlit flame. Smoke rose up and forgotten my name. Somewhere beyond that darkening hill, the world kept turning quiet and still. There was a road by the house I knew, cut through the weeds where the ironwood grew. Used to run it down with a stick in hand, like I could measure the shape of the land. Now every mile says nothing stays, not the porch light glow, not the August haze. Still the ground has a steady tone, like it's been speaking to the lost alone. And the night gets wide between the trees, big enough to hold my doubt with ease. No loud answer, no burning sign, just the breath of the earth beside mine. So I sit where the fire burns low, watching red light come and go. What I lost and what I keep, trade their names in the cedar smoke. And I'm small, but I'm not alone, with the whole dark field humming under stone. Maybe faith is only this, a quiet trail I still can't miss. No map, no end, I need to see just some old light moving through me. So I sit where the fire burns low, watching red light come and go. And I'm small, but I'm not alone, with the whole dark field humming under stone. There's a fence line bent with summer weight, grass leaning gold where the wagon stayed. A blackened ring of stone beside the pine, smoke in the bark and dust in the light. The trail runs out where the hillside dips, past thistle heads and old boot prints. Something in the open, wide and plain, calls my name, then lets it fade. Back then the world was a longer mile, home was a porch and a radio dial. Evening would gather in the mason jars, moss in the screen and a sky full of sparks. Now every road has a quieter sound, more gone behind me than waiting now. but the ground still keeps what the years let go. In roots below and stones below, maybe faith is a field at dusk, half made of wonder, half made of dust. So I sit where the fire left ashen lines, watching the dark take its easy time. Small as a nail in a barnwood frame, held in the hand of a wider name. If I am lost, let it be like this, with smoke in my clothes and the world so big. They never hide, they keep their silence on either side. And out where the last light thins and bends, it feels like sorrow and peace are friends. So I sit where the fire left ashen lines, watching the dark take its easy time. Small as a nail in a barnwood frame, held in the hand of a wider name. If I am lost, let it be like this, with smoke in my clothes and the world so big.
There's a cart path cut through the yarrow and brush, past a sagging fence where the field goes hush. Evening hangs on the shoulder of the hill, not saying much, but it louses the still. Years ago, with a can in my hand, I'd follow that line to the edge of the land, thinking the world was a thing you could learn by the bend of a road in the road crows turn. And now there's a fire by a ring of shale, a low red heart in a coffee tin. Smoke leans off through the chestnut leaves, then there's the thoughts I don't quite believe. Home comes back in the smallest forms, in cedar bark and a porch screen cord. Not as a place with a key or gate, more like a weight that the body takes. And the dark grows wide, but it doesn't press, it just holds a little room for the rest. Every doubt that I carried far lays down slow with the evening stars. So let the hillside keep my name, let it wear down what I can't explain. All my old days, all I couldn't say, move like grass when the night wind bends. Small as a spark in the listening black, still somehow called by the ground at my back. Maybe faith is a borrowed pace, one more step in a quiet place. Maybe meaning soft and plain, like smoke that leaves, but it leaves a trace. So let the hillside keep my name. Let it wear down what I can't explain. Small as a spark in the listening black, still somehow called by the ground at my back.
Amber light on a leaning fence. Morning climbs through the cottonwood shade. Distant ridges grow wide and dense, where the narrow dirt trail was made. Loose stones rest where the wagon ran. Tall grass hums in a drifting breeze. Dust lifts soft from the open land and hangs in the elder trees. A small fire wakes in a ring of stone. Kettle sings with a patient sound. Smoke writes lines in a drifting tone through the hush of the woods around. Footsteps pause where the trail runs thin. Clouds move slow over distant rills. Wind leans low through the shadowed glen, speaking soft in the quiet hills. Past the bend where the mileposts fall, no one's counting at all. In the slow language of the hills, where the tall winds wander free. Every mile the stillness fills with a wider breath in me. Let the road lose the names it knew. Let the dust lie calm and still, out where the sky turns pale and blue. There's a voice in the hills. Embers breathe in a fading red. Ash drips light and slow. Stars burn wide overhead on the fields below. In the slow language of the hills, where the tall winds wander free. Every mile the stillness fills with a wider breath in me. Out where the sky turns pale and blue, there's a voice in the hills.
Beyond the pasture, past the wire, there's a hollow blackened by old fires. Goldenrod leans where the footpath dips. Dust rises soft at the edge of the grass. Used to head there when the house felt small, when the screen door shook and the shadows grew long. Somewhere between the pines and stone, the kid could believe being lost was home. Now the kettle rests by the cedar roots. Smoke slips thin through the evening blue. Crickets start where the light wears down, one by one in the quiet round. Home comes back in a weathered way, in the smell of bark at the end of day. Not as a place with a lamp still lit, more like the shape of what once held it. And the dark gets wide, but it doesn't ask. It just keeps still with the things that last. Every doubt I could never name settles low in the grass the same. So I sit where the fire leaves red, where the sparks drift up and the words go dead. All my old years, all I couldn't keep, turn like smoke through the hickory trees. Small as a stone in a field this far, still somehow known by the dark we are. Maybe faith is a worn footpath, not straight ahead, just enough to last. Maybe meaning's a quieter sound, boot heels soft on the breathing ground. So I sit where the fire leaves red, where the sparks drift up and the words go dead. Small as a stone in a field this far, still somehow known by the dark we are.
Down where the pasture gives way to pine, and there a trail slips out of sight. Briars catch at the coffin hem, dust lifts off where the daylight bends. Used to go there when the house spoke hard, past the split rail fence and the mason jars. Thought growing up was a gate in a field, something you crossed and would change for real. There's a fire by a fallen log, flame gone low in the common dark. Smoke threads out through the cedar limbs, slow as a prayer with no clear end. Home comes back in the smell of bark, in a screen door hush from a life gone dim. Not as a room with the light left on, more like a road that keeps moving on. And the hills don't hurry what they know, they just hold the last light, then let it go. Every doubt I carried here like smoke in the evening blue. Small as a spark in a world this wide, still with the earth on every side. Maybe faith is a worn down sound, boot heels turning in the patient ground. Maybe meaning is less like flame, more like staying when the dark remains. So I wait where the fire speaks low, where the red ash breathes and the tall grass bows. Small as a spark in a world this wide, still with the earth on every side. Out where the cattle trail drops from the hill, a lantern of sunset rings over the field. Grasshoppers lift from the weeds one by one, like old little thoughts still afraid of the sun. There was a house with a porch out back, a screen door him and a gravel track. Most of it's gone to the sumac now, but the wind knows where to find it somehow. Tonight there's a fire in a circle of stone, a kettle gone quiet, just ember and smoke. Burns take root in the edge of the dark, holding their ground like a line in a song. Years have a way of thinning the thread, leaving a voice where the living has been. Some names stay warm when the mouth goes still, like coals under ash at the foot of the hill. And the night gets deep, but it does not close. It carries the weight and it lets it go. Every question loose and slow in the breath of the earth below. So I wait where the low fire leans, while the black oak trembles through the leaves. All that left and all that stayed meet for a while in the smoke and shade. Small as a word no one ever said, still heard clear in the hills ahead. Maybe faith is a borrowed light, a little held flame in the rebs at night. Maybe home is the sound things make when the dark goes wide and the branches shake. So I wait where the low fire leans, while the black oak trembles through the leaves. All that left and all that stayed meet for a while in the smoke and shade. So I wait where the low fire leans, while the black oak trembles through the leaves. All that left and all that stayed meet for a while in the smoke and shade.
pasture road, where the tall weeds press and the fence posts bow. Evening laid its copper coat on the backs of the grazing ground. Used to walk there after the screen door slammed, kick out the dust with a stick in hand, certain the world was a little thing, just one more hill and the edge of it. There's a fire by a ring of stone, tea gone still and the shadows long. Smoke threads up through the leaning pines, thin as the names that time wears down. Home comes back in a sidewise way, in the smell of grass at the end of day. Not as a house you could open up, more like a path that remembers your way. And the dark gets wide without making a sound, like it's known all along what I'm carrying now. No clear word comes, no bright release, just the ground breathing back some peace. So I stay till the last log breaks, till the red heart dims and the hillside waits. All my doubt in the years gone by drift a while in the smoke blue sky, small as a spark where the night runs deep, still held fast by the roots beneath. Maybe faith is a patient field, giving nothing sharp but asking still. Maybe meaning is not a flame, just a road that knows your name. So I stay till the last log breaks, till the red heart dims and the hillside waits, small as a spark where the night runs deep, still held fast by the roots beneath.
West of the water tower road, past the field where the milkweed grows. There's a line of trees by a shallow bend, where a kid once went when the day got thin. Boot soles dark with the creek bank clay, sun caught low on the baling hay. Back then home was a fixed bright thing, a porch light sway and a screen door spring. Now there's a fire in a ring of rock, a pot gone still and a pine wood spark. Smoke goes up through the hickory leaves, slow as a thought no one quite believes. Years have a way of untying names, leaving the dirt but moving the frame. Still that old place comes back by scent and bark and ash and the hour half spent. And the dark out here doesn't press too hard, it just widens out past the cattle guard. Every doubt I was dragging in lays down quiet in the grass again. So I stay where the fire burns small, where the night gets big and receives it all. All my old roads, all my younger noise, settle down with the whip or wheels, small as a coal in the breathing black, still somehow held by the feels in my back. Maybe faith is a humble sound, boot heel turning in the softened ground. Maybe meaning is less like light, more like staying through the falling night. So I stay where the fire burns small, where the night gets big and receives it all, small as a coal in the breathing black, still somehow held by the feels at my back.
Fango spills on the ridge of stone, morning leans through the trembling fire. Cold stream speaks in a hollow tone, where the shallow pebbles stir. Fence posts fade in the rising haze, dust lies pale on the bending ground. Light walks slow through the early days, like I had forgotten sound. Small fire breezed by a ring of shale, tin cup warms in the drifting heat. Smoke unwinds in a silver trail, where the dusk and the branches meet. Boot steps pause on a sandy turn, tall grass bows where the long winds move. Hills grow wide as the shadows burn, valley grew, past the bend where the markers fall. There's no map at all. In the quiet that the trail rides down, where the tall air bends and flows, every mile leaves the old dust brown on the paths nobody knows. Let the wind take the weight away, let the sky grow wide and clear, out where the pale horizons sway, there's a steadier year. Embers glow in a fading red, ash drifts thin and slow, stars lean close overhead on the hills below. In the quiet that the trail rides down, where the tall air bends and flows, every mile leaves the old dust brown on the past nobody knows. Horizons sway, there's a steadier year.
Morning hangs on a pale blue thread, over ridges the frost has drawn, pine tips burn where the light has spread, slow and quiet before the dawn. Loose stones shift on the climbing track, dry leaves stir where the wind runs through, crow wings carve through the sky out back, like a line the day once knew. Up in a fragile line, smoke drifts off through the cottonwood trail, braiding dust through the darkening pine. Boots rest warm by a breathing flame, ash falls light in a drifting sweep. No one here needs a road or a name, just the miles the mountains keep. Past the ridge where the old paths fade, only distance is laid. Slow as wind through the prairie grass, every mile sheds its old regrets, like a shadow the night lets pass. Let the land hold the way you bore, let the silence move in and stay out where nothing is kept in store. There's a calmer way. Where the horizon learns your footsteps, slow as wind through the prairie grass, every mile sheds its old regrets, like a shadow the night lets pass. Let the land hold the way you bore, let the silence move in and stay out where nothing is kept in store. There's a calmer way. There's a calmer way.
Where the smack leans over the ditch, laid like clung to the fence wire thin. Dust on the dashboard, pine pitch on a switch, and the long road drew me farther in. Fields rolled over in a tired gold green. Cicadas stitched their hymn through the trees. Some old house lit where the road had been, still hanging around in the cut of the breeze.
Back by the fire with the kettle singing low, smoke curled up through the black oak leaves. Thoughts came loose where the slow flames go, quiet as mice in the camper eaves.
Mother's voice in the screen door sway, my father's boots by the porch at dusk. Time don't vanish, it changes shape, turns into shadow and a seed of dust. And the night as plain in the cricket's frame.
What do you keep when the years go through?
Is the faith in the leaving all the same, or just enough road to carry you?
In the sound the gravel made under me, there was some kind of answer, rough and small. Not a sign in the sky, not a thing to see, just a trail going on past the edge of it all. And the fire held on like a spoken name, small but steady in the dark it made on. Without a word, blue smoke thinning in the waking air. Every lost thing leaves a shape in the world, and sometimes you find your meaning there. In the sound the gravel made under me, there was some kind of answer, rough and small. Trail going on past the edge of it all, and a fire still alive when the shadows fall.
at the back of the meadow bend, where the footpath ends and the tall weeds lean. The boar once went when the house closed in, past the rusted trough in the sycamore shade. Light stayed low on the far-off hill, dust on his cuffs, burrs on his socks. Thought the world was a thing with edges, something a good long walk could solve. There's a fire by a scatter of stones, smoke in the pines and a cooling tin cup. Crickets start where the daylight breaks, one by one in the sumac brush. Home comes back in the smallest ways, zap on the hand, that old wood smell. Not as a house with a lamp still on, more like a road the body knows. And the night gets wide without saying much, just holds the field in the weight I brought. Every doubt that was hard as iron softens some in the breathing dark. So I sit till the embers sing, till the red goes dim in the bed of ash. All my lost years, all I can explain, turn like smoke through the hickory black, small as a spark in a sky this deep, still somehow kept by the ground beneath. Maybe faith is a little glow, not enough to see, but enough to go. Maybe meaning is slow and plain, like a trail worn down by the same 2 feet. So I sit till the embers sing, till the red goes dim in the bed of ash, small as a spark in a sky this deep, still somehow kept by the ground beneath.
Past the soybean rows and the leaning wire, there's a track worn down to a circle of fire. Blackbirds lift from the thistle heads, day goes soft on the Stone Creek bed. Used to think home was a fixed little thing, porch light glow and a rusted swing. Now it comes like a smell in the trees, like dust on the cups and sap on the breeze. the evening in. So I stay till the fire turns blue, till the smoke goes loose through the cedar limbs. All my old roads, all I outgrew, circle back in the quiet again. Small as a spark in the mouth of the plain, still held up by a world that won't explain. Maybe faith is a little flame, not telling much, but it stays the same. Maybe meaning is only found where your boot heels rest on the breathing ground. So I stay till the fire turns blue, till the smoke goes loose through the cedar limbs. Small as a spark in the mouth of the plain, still held up by a world that won't explain.
There's a bend in the trail past the sycamore shade, where the light comes late and the blackbirds trade. Used to think that the ridge marked the end of the earth, just a line you could reach if your legs had the nerve. Now the gravel road hums like an old refrain, dust in the weeds after one brief rain, even settles in the tall field grass, soft as a hand over broken glass. By the fire the kettle gives out its thin song, smoke finds the gap where the dark moves on. Something at home comes back in that sound, not the rooms, but the way the boards held ground. Years went by like a creek on low, leaving white stone where the roots still show. What was certain thinned out with time, till doubt grew tall as the cedar line. Still the hills keep a patient frame, never asking to be explained. Night comes down without a word, and every small thought can still be heard. So I stay where the fire burns thin, let the dark lay its weather in. All I carry, all I hear, rests so wild where the pine roots live. Small as a spark in breathing land, still somehow held in its open hand. Maybe faith is a quieter thing, not a bell but a wire that sings. Maybe meaning is only this, a little more sky than the body can miss. So I stay where the fire burns thin. Let the dark lay its weather in. Small as a spark in the breathing land, still somehow held in its open hand.
Down by the cut where the old trail fades, sumac red in the ditch by the lane. A fence post leans like it's tired too, holding the field in a crooked line. Back then the world was a smaller sound. Screen door slam and the dogs cut loose. Now there's more dark at the edge of things, more sky than a body knows what to do with. In a patient tongue, spits a little and then goes low. Smoke slips off through the cedar limbs, thin as a thought you almost know. Home comes back in the smell of dust, in the hush that lands when the birds go still. Not as a house with a light left on, more like a path that runs through the will. And the hills don't answer clean or fast, they just keep the shape of what has passed. Every doubt finds room to land in the open palm of the darkened land. So I walk where the firelight ends, where the grass bends down and rises again. All my old years move underfoot, root and stone and weathered wood, small in the night, but I can't stand when the earth goes breathing through the land. When the earth goes breathing through the land. Maybe faith is a quiet wait, not a door flung wide but a gate. Maybe peace is a trail unseen, still leading on through the trees between.